cannot seem to surmount. Are they going to be able to do it this time around?
I mean, it's maybe apropos that you are asking me that, as we have been there for many of those grand finals where they have fallen short.
We were there for the first one. The worst one, perhaps, where they got 3-0'd.
There have been a lot of ugly grand finals between these two teams, and all of them have gone one way in the end. Some would say second place consistently in Dota is a blessing. I think at this point for Liquid it is an absolute curse. They are hoping to overcome at this point. Second means nothing to them. It's just another notch on a belt of unsuccessful victories. So yet they find themselves here again at the summit of the challenge in Dota 2, which is Gamin Gladiators for them, trying to overcome all of those past demons. And there are a lot to overcome here as they will venture forth once more into a grand finals best of 5 versus their nemesis.
It is certainly going to take a lot of mental strength to be able to go up against the same team again and again and still be confident and hope that you are the better team this time around, especially after they got trounced so hard in the upper bracket final. I mean, that was hardly a series. Gamin Gladiators just had the freest walk to the grand finals that I think they've had the entirety of last year. They have made so many grand finals, but this one looked the easiest for them.
Yeah, that was one of those BO3s you play. There's 2 games and you got 3-0'd in it. That was a rough one. That's a loss that carried over to another series on another day. Liquid did strike back earlier today, found their groove again. This is a team that wants to play fast, wants to accelerate that early game, and they're up against the other team that has done it the most successfully in the tournament. That's going to be a real test again if they can adapt from that upper bracket final, learn from it, improve, adjust the drafts, adjust the laning. Because if we go back to that series, which, you know, we're going to maybe hype up the tension very quickly here, that series was about the lane phase. The first 10 minutes for Liquid, can you survive it?
Yep.
I don't want to start the series with can you destroy Gaimin in that, because you were nowhere close in those 2 games. In a lot of those games, you got outplayed on the side lanes on support level, and in some of them, you just got cheesed out in those lanes. I go back to like the Dazzle pick versus the Ember mid. That lane did not exist for Nisha. I don't care how good Nisha is. If you put him in a position like that, there's nothing he can do about it. So you have to adjust the drafts here if you're Liquid to be able to combat what Gaimin are throwing at you in the lane phase, and you have to up the quality of play so that you don't give away those free random support kills on the map. You know, you can't be 0-3, 0-4 on your 2 supports here if you're Liquid at 10 minutes and expect to combat that death ball that Blitz was talking about.
Yeah, and we heard the panel talk about, we heard the coach of Tundra, Moonmeander, talk about it, and we heard Blitz himself. It seemed like everybody is aligned that Team Liquid did draft themselves a better focus on the early game, a better focus on the lanes. In particular, it seems that this safe lane of theirs, people seem to think that it's going to go well. I'm not going to say it's going to go well just because, again, it's Gamin Gladiators. But Monkey King, Crystal Maiden, are you happy with that setup against what Gamin Gladiators have right now?
Before I talk about that, I just want to say we are at a point in Dota history where your 4 position can be a boots first Morphling and you're not going to get mass reported. Let's just take a moment to respect how far we've come in the Dota universe, that is a thing that does not get you put in low priority here. Instead, it puts you in a grand final.
That's right.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Dota truly is a beautiful game that is always changing, and you know.
In fact, I think I did do this a couple years ago, and I got reported for it. So maybe I was just ahead of the curve.
Sure, you can tell yourself that.
But I will say this Boxy Morphling has been a go-to for them over the course of this event, and I'm excited to see what he can do with it here because he has some really good spells to steal, particularly from that Jakiro, the Beastmaster, even Invoker can throw out some of these Quas-Wex spells early on in the game. He's my go-to player for Liquid to build the momentum and keep them in this early game. You were talking about the Monkey CM lane. I think Monkey is going to be a point of contention here between these 2 teams, particularly if the Monkey King is off to a good start in this game 1, because he is a hero that can dominate the laning phase. Very resilient against a lot of the meta offlaners that are these big bruisers. They're just melee heroes. Sacks of meat you can get the Jingu stacks up on. Great matchups for the Monkey King, and he's a hero that takes that lane advantage and translates it into early map control by making some of the fastest rotations available for any carry. Really good gate rotations. You can make it off the Jingu, so he just snowballs from kill to kill to kill. It is a really nice hero to have in this game 1 for Liquid, because in theory it gives you a lot of pace, guarantees a good lane for Mickey, and that's exactly what you're looking for out of this carry role.
Yeah, if Duracio's hero of this tournament anyway is Chaos Knight, I feel like Nikkei has got to be Monkey King. So we'll see if he's able to put it to work here. 33 is always limping back to his tier 1 tower. Duracio is just non-stop when it comes to the pressure on this offlaner. We talked about the importance of being able to win your lanes. It's very interesting to me that 33 opted for the facet that is much weaker in the laning phase. He opts for Krill Eater, which is a Tidehunter start where you are much weaker as an offlaner, and by the time you get to level 10, you're then to even stats, and then from there on out, Tidehunter is stronger than normal. But I would have expected, much like other Tidehunters of this tournament, for him to have gone for the other facet that builds up your Kraken Shell.
Maybe he's just that confident in his matchups in this game. I mean, in theory, Tide is very good with the Kraken Shell versus the Brood, and some of the other summons that Gaimin are presenting through the Chen and the Beast. Though I will say Beast as a summons hero, I don't know about that one, right? Like, yeah, you have boars, but this hero is all about the axes, the roar, and the Ags buildup. So I think that matchup is not nearly as good for Tide as it used to be, but it's definitely a hero that can slow the game down and defend your towers. And that's what you're going to look to do with it here. So if that Tide gets through the early game, then the extra scale from the Krill Leader could compound here. Plus, you scale the model size, and I mean, that just feels good, right?
That's true. Who doesn't love a big boy? Well, Quinn seems to be doing quite well for himself in the mid lane. Nisha really tried to put the screws to him early. We saw a lot of early harassment and chase down in lanes, but ultimately the Quas Invoker has been able to regen up and stay above and beating him now in CS. So, could be adding another hero to the pool, and any counter to Pango at this point is going to be a godsend for a best of 5, right? If you're sitting in the drafting pool, you're thinking about, okay, what do you got to deal with Pango, especially after watching that lower bracket final.
Gaimin pulling ahead on 3 lanes here, doing quite well, and double Ghoul on this bottom lane. The Ghoul Assassins out in force today. Now, I would mention these for lore reasons, of course, Austin, but I would also mention them. This is some stacking regen reduction with the necrotic webs down here.
Yes, it is.
Like, there was a point where 33 had 0.9 regen on this lane, getting hit by the Ghoul and in the web. Just no extra sustain down here for this Tidehunter. He's getting his mana burned from the Satyr Creep, getting his regen reduced from the Ghoul and the necrotic web. This is not a fun lane for 33, just trying to survive it right now. And of course, the 4-position Morphlane, I mean, he's a mid-game payoff hero, not really known for his lane prowess. Liquid just trying to get as much out of this as they can. As Gaimin make the first rotation, they're going to head mid with the Jakiro, secure the power rune, take it away from Nisha. We'll need a bottle refill off the Crystal Maiden neutral creep suicide. Insania, he already knew that they were not going to win that rune, so he preemptively killed himself.
Throw himself to the neutrals and TP's mid refill Nisha's bottle. Yeah, I mean, if the safe lane, when it comes to the safe lane of Liquid, being, trying to focus on making sure you don't lose lanes and some early aggression, the off lane is the antithesis of that for Liquid. A Krill Eater Tidehunter and a 4-position Morphling. They better hope this safe lane is able to pay out, and it's not right now. It was going well early. The rotation comes out from Celery, though, as the Chen, and they are going to take this tower very, very early. They cannot do anything to mirror this pressure. The Broodmother is still free farming.
An uncontested move off the Chen for Celery, and we saw this in a lot of those other games for Gaimin. If the Chen gets off a few of these rotations that work, suddenly he's level 5 or 6 earlier than you want, and the snowball just starts to escalate incredibly fast. That is a very fast tier 1 that just went completely uncontested. On a lane that Liquid, I think, we're hoping to dominate a bit more here. Didn't get any of the early kills out of it. You didn't get any extra XP for this Crystal Maiden, who invested a lot of resources on the lane. You're looking at that net worth for the Maiden right now on Insania. That is regen investment to try and get a payoff on the Monkey King. Just didn't happen there. Now he is going to be a creep on the map. Gaimin can now look to make this rotation into mid whenever they want. Burn out some of the Pangoliers mana, maybe backstab with the Beastmaster Chen army. So the next move Liquid are going to have to think about in this game. You would love to have Rolling Thunder and Ravage up for these tower defenses. Those are long cooldowns, however, so you cannot waste them in a game like this, as Gaimin are going to up the tempo, up the pace. The scan will connect, so Liquid are going to bring reinforcements.
Morphling's going to be first one in. And they're going to go for the kill on Quinn, trying to hit him. Shield crash, burns out most of the mana. They still have some to go, but look at the stuns raining in from the Golem, stopping Nisha. He just cannot, between the Cold Snap and the Golems, get off that Rolling Thunder. So the
brought
team
the
fight
monkey.
spell is missing.
Extra armor here on Quinn. He's getting Frost Armored plus Divine Favored. This Invoker is not squishy at all, and you are now committing in. Still have the Rolling Thunder.
Try it again. Cold Snap stopping him time and time again. Quinn keeps on
Nisha's in trouble.
rebuking Nisha's attempts to get aggressive. Nisha's in big time trouble. Turns around, gets off the shield crash. Now gets off the Rolling Thunder. He has the shield for a little bit. It's just a bit stronger. Maybe enough to be able to help get the kill onto Quinn, who goes invisible. Oh, a Primal Roar bounces over on Nisha, slowing him down. The axes cut him down. Ace gets the first blood and looks for second. As, yeah, he's going to get Insania as well. That is a well-timed show up there from Ace.
Absolutely on point there. That was a nice turnaround from Nisha using that extra shield, and Ace turns up exactly when Gaimin need him to turn the tide on this fight. And again, it points to how tanky this Invoker was in the early exchanges. He's getting extra lifesteal off the new Quas. You're getting armored up from these back-end supports. It just takes so long and so much for Liquid to commit on him there. And Ace is able to come in and collect 2 and that first blood. Suddenly this Beastmaster very far ahead of everybody else in this game.
Well, you didn't win the lane, Senior not winning the skirmishes. Nice pushback there with a Hurricane from Celery. He has been quite the nuisance with that neutral creep specifically. Now it feels like the next step for Liquid is when are you going to be able to use your Ravage and how successfully? Because 33 is not having fun in this bottom lane. He is getting some farm, but very little compared to what Dirachi was able to get out of it. And he's matched up against an Invoker, right? Which is a hero that can be really obnoxious for Tidehunter when it comes to that mana.
This is starting to look like that upper bracket series.
Just a tad bit.
Falling behind on the lanes, and there's no easy moves to make here. Your supports are too low damage to bring down Quinn.
I think it's scarier the fact that they're doing this, they're taking this pace while this game had the slowest first blood. You know, so it's not like they're doing it through kills. They're getting that kind of lead mostly through just lane attrition.
I mean, Gaimin don't need to get kills to win the early game. Their ideas about the longevity of the lane, how that favors your core matchups, and what your supports can do on the map in terms of rotations, right? What do these rune clashes look like when they go 3v3 mid? What happens when the side laners get left in a vacuum in one-on-ones? Those are the instances where they win these early games and pull net worth advantage out of thin air. And right now, Liquid are facing some of those same issues. The Tide can't stand against the Brood with a single Jakiro rotation. This Monkey King was unable to stay on top against the Beastmaster, and this just opens up all the rotations into mid, playing around a hero in the Invoker that Liquid don't have a lot of gap close for. The problems are mounting here, and this is another smoke to defend a tower that is already gone. Where do you go from here if you're Liquid? Down 6K, haven't even gotten a kill. And you know they're going to feel the pressure right now because they've been here before. They were here yesterday.
They know the next step for Gamin Gladiators is getting the auras. So they better find a team fight soon. Otherwise, those team fights are just going to get harder and harder. As they do manage to hit a good Rolling Thunder. Set up for the kill on Tofu. Going to look for more as well. Celery being harassed here. Ace is going to cut over, though. Might be able to help out, get a kill on a Crystal Main. Shield Crash does manage to finish off the champ before the Tornado comes in. Nice Centaur Stomp, though. A Vessel used on to the Pango. Have to drop the Ravage to try and bail Nisha out. It still may not be enough. He has a Shield Crash. He has a Swashbuckle. He's going to jump, and the Axes, not quite getting there, but he is running. Dirachi is chasing. A rock coming forward, more spiders, and Nisha's just going to die. There's nothing he can do about this anymore. Dirachi runs halfway across the map to chase down Nisha.
I mean, this man just did a net marathon from bottom jungle area to that fight through a Ravage and still finds his mark. I don't know if that was a net worth positive kill for the Brood, but he's certainly wealthy, so it doesn't matter here. And Nisha's game is just shot at this point.
Yeah.
He has no item progression. This is one of those things where you go team, like, this is a safe lane Brood, right?
What's he doing up here?
Please.
And also the first Ravage used to try and save Nisha.
Yeah, it did nothing there.
Didn't even work out. So the idea the panel had was this Tidehunter was going to be able to sit in front of these pushes coming in from Gamin Gladiators. It is not protecting any towers. The first Ravage isn't working. Now Jirachio's tearing the Tidehunter a new one, man. The Kraken Shell doing nothing for you against the high damage of the Broodmother at this point.
This Tidehunter is turning into a big liability right now. If you cannot stand and defend your towers with the early Kraken Shell Anchor Smash, then he's just waiting for Ravage cooldown. And Ravage is not the spell it used to be. It's not dealing damage. It's just a minor slowdown here. A stone on the pathway to victory for Gaimin right now as they build a 7k net worth lead, and they're still farming up ancient stacks with Ace, who, by the way, already finished that Ags. So Roshan is completely open as well here, and I don't think there's any world you're contesting that if you're Liquid. You have to just look for some pickoffs right now. And you just missed a big one as, I mean, Ace's game is just so fast. He just TP'd to go do Roshan. Like, this game fails because the man is too wealthy.
I was going to say, I was like, is he going to wait for Dire Side Roshan? No, he's got the Ags. He's going to just do it right now. And I'm looking at this gank team of Crystal Maiden, Pango. Normally, there's plenty of damage between the two, but they are so underfarmed. And I question whether or not they'd be able to find a kill. They'll steal a Wisdom Rune with this.
Worth something. I mean, that's really nice for Boxy. He gets some extra experience here. Hero needs the levels. But Nisha has been left alone.
Rolling Thunder does go off just in time. The Ice Path just a half a second too late. Nisha survives, but that's all he's doing, surviving. He is not gaining anything. Gamin Gladiators is gaining a net worth lead that is growing, and now having Aegis to work with for the next 5 minutes.
I will say this has to be one of the more impressive Broodmother carry rotation-based games I've ever seen. Like, Dyrachyo has been in all 3 lanes pre-15 minutes and impacted all of them at certain points. He's just been everywhere, and his farm is insane right now. They've been unable to touch him.
And I feel like is supposed to be countered a bit, right? With the Pango and Monkey King, you have some spells that can be thrown out to easily clear through spiders. 33, crawling back, trying to get back to his tier 2, gets met with 3 heroes from Gamin Gladiators. So
more souls for the vessel here, as Quinn will happily collect them.
No lack of charges in this game for Quinn.
I mean, you gotta muster a fight soon if you're Liquid here, just to stabilize the map. Group up, make something happen.
And Quinn from bottom, TP's mid, and immediately goes for the gank on Boxy. Boxy trying to get into the Invoker and trying to ghost walk away, but the Sentry's already there in place.
Okay.
A 3-man gank does kill Dyrachyo, though. That is a much bigger kill than, honestly, the Tide and the Morphling combined.
Oh yeah, 100%. It is worth a lot of gold here early, almost 1,000.
Sad though, if Mickey just got that kill and dies immediately, the Sunstrike will add the extra bit of damage required. No chance of escape for Mickey.
That is not a super high damage Sunstrike, but the extra 200 is enough to push it over the edge.
Use the Rolling Thunder to make sure they get this pick off as it appears. Now, there is no ults here from... He's just like, sorry, bro, I can't even save you. I'm not even going to try. If I do stick around, decent chance that I'm going to get killed by a tornado.
Ace is just absolutely out of control in this game. Managed to find a really nice pickup on Dyrachyo, but he's just going to be straight back at it. You have to be able to stand alone for some of these heroes to control the map, and Liquid are struggling. Gaimin Smoke continue to just run back and forth, close out the lanes, find the ganks.
Well, the Tidehunter is level 10. This is the point where the Krill Eater starts paying off with the extra strength gain that you get. So from here on out, it is a bonus, but you're still down 10K. Later minus for Quinn, so he wants to make sure that they'll continue to scale up, though we'll see if that Midas actually comes to fruition here, because this could be a Gamin Gladiators closing out game 25 minutes sort of deal.
I mean, Midas on Invoker is a lot about the levels, too.
Yeah.
Even if this gold never pays off, it'll pay off in terms of better spells in the fight. And he's not under a lot of pressure right now, as Liquid just don't have the gap close to get on top of the Invoker and start on him. Man, these cores have just been swarming the map.
Zania pops a healing salve. It's a slow hero, though. I imagine they'll catch him eventually. The Axes reveal his position.
Not a fun game to be a Crystal Maiden in anymore.
Nope, and while they're chasing you around, Jirachi's taking the mid-tier 2, and they could go high ground to force
they
Liquid
are
back.
going high ground. This is not a team that is afraid to poke and even commit for a Rax if you misstep here. They still have this Aegis up on the Beast. That is how fast this last 4 minutes have been.
Yeah, you normally see like second Aegis be the timing to hit high ground, take a lane of barracks. Gamin Gladiators do it in 1.
This'll come in
They're
handy.
Or at
just
least
playing
trying to.
so fast right now. Liquid have not had a single break this entire game. They're going to lose this tier 3 at 18 minutes, potentially.
Base jumps forward, goes for the quick kill onto the Crystal Maiden. With Primal Roar used, they have the strength to push forward with the drum speeding. Ace, nobody can really get close to him for now, but maybe he's overextended himself. Blink in with the Rolling Thunder. Nisha gets stuck. That's not good. Roll up, goes back to the Beastmaster. 30 seconds left on the Aegis. They are all in, committed to kill this Beastmaster. Can they get him twice, though?
Go up Ravage.
Fire, and Mickey down to half HP. Hits the Ravage onto the Beastmaster. See if they can pop him. He gets off a round of actions. Wait for him through it. Still all not quite enough. A boundless strike. A little more damage is required, but they've ran out. Liquid have nothing left in the tank. They will lose 2 of their cores. They will lose a lane of barracks, and they will lose the kill on the Beastmaster.
Just too tanky. You have Chen with Divine Favor. You have the mech already up. You have Disruption coming through. The drums add up. And Blitz mentioned you have to get through this 20-minute death ball timing. Well, this was an 18-minute death ball timing, and Liquid did not pass the first test here.
Is under attack.
I mean, how many times get stuck in the same 20-minute window here? Gamin Gladiators is just so good at it, man. They've demolished every team at this tournament the same way. Nobody is able to do it quite like they do. And they're proving it once again in game 1 of the grand finals.
No reason to stop. Now you don't have the Ravage, you don't have the Wukong. Don't have Aegis. That's the one downside here for Gaimin.
Yeah.
Can't just bait that beast on the front line as much anymore, and no reason to throw a fight either.
4 buildings they took with that Aegis. That is a healthy, fast pace for Gamin Gladiators. Just what they're known for.
It's just so much gold for the team overall. Like, these supports are insanely rich. This Chen is ahead of the Tide Hunter. He is gonna maybe have the, I mean, he's gonna have pipe at almost the same time this Tide got it up.
Yeah, and that's
For what it's used for here. You get caught out. You get caught on some of these big cores, you're just going to lose another lane of racks.
33's inventory.
What a dodge.
He's got a 33's got Wraith bands queued up.
Yeah,
he's trying to hit that 25-minute armor timing.
He did this in one of their other games too, just for the base defense. I mean, it is efficient when you're stuck in these situations, but it is not something you want to have to do here.
It is a Hail Mary for sure. Throw a lot of gold just to try and give you some base stats to survive a little longer. Tormentors, Roshans, Tier 3s, Barracks, Liquid's base. It's all free for Gamin Gladiators, or at least that's what it feels like. A score of 13-4, an 18,000 net worth lead. They are topping out the board in all the metrics right now.
Amazing
And
what you'll find
Liquid
laying around.
can't really go out on the map anywhere. If they do, that's where the Invoker comes in. One of the heroes that is best at being able to hunt around the map. Twin going for the boots of travel for the extra bit of mobility, but it's not him who's going to find the opening. It's Ace. Got the Primal Roar killed for Nisha. Duraccio joins alongside to see if there's any other Liquid heroes lurking about.
Just too easy right now. Absolutely too easy here for Gaimin. The BKBs are just finishing up. The Broods arrives. The Beast was already done.
Dire's bottom tower is under
You
attack.
have
waving.
nothing to get through BKB. Not this early into the game. You don't have the physical damage.
These are as good as Aegis's.
Yeah.
I mean, you might just go high ground top lane here. You can get that wave to Liquid's base. You can also just keep crossing the map. I mean, every one of these cross-map smokes has worked out for Gaimin so far.
Yeah, and
They're
they
pinging
know
the monkey.
they know where Mickey is going to be right now. They've already pinged it out. They
It's
know
just-
he's playing on the opposite side of the map.
Wants to give him nothing. This man doesn't want to just end this game. He wants to make it miserable for Liquid right now.
Gonna hit the axe. Blinks forward. Ooh, if he didn't blink forward, Mickey was actually through that little area of trees.
It still gets map control. It gets the lanes in.
Yeah,
it
it
prevents
gets
the
Mickey
monkey.
back, right?
I mean, you finish up the BKB for the monkey. I mean, that is the best item Liquid are going to get here. Maybe ever in this game if you can't win a fight with it. And they will smoke out. Look for something. Look for that clutch pickoff.
I mean, it would be amazing if they find Duraccio here. Even just getting the BKB out of him would buy some time. especially with Roshan up right now.
You have to start on him with Blink Rolling Thunder. It's your only initiation tool right now.
Yeah, and then you probably have to Ravage chain into another Rolling Thunder hit.
It's so awkward. You just don't have the Blink Tide Hunter. Makes all these plays feel impossible.
I would say missed opportunity, but there really wasn't one. As you said, without the Blink, not
just
possible.
Going towards Roshan number 2 here at 23.5 minutes. Done so early.
And they still have their safe lane tower up, so it is extremely well protected. Not something Liquid really has a prayer of winning this fight. At best, you could say maybe if they were somehow in the perfect position, they could steal away the Aegis.
They do a lot of AoE for the pit.
Kills.
I mean, this might be your best chance to win a fight in this game as opposed to the high ground.
He's hopping around. Quinn sees him coming. Duraccio is going to stay alone inside the pit. Try and finish up the Roshan. And Liquid's going to be here too late. Aegis already picked up. They're in position. This is not good. Liquid has no way out of this one, so they just have to commit. They're going to go for Quinn here first. Hit him with the Rolling Thunder. Not too bad, but with the monkey gone, there goes much of their damage. They've thrown a Ravage and a Rolling Thunder and everything they have to be able to kill Quinn. They're struggling to get it. The pipe is keeping them alive. They run out of damage for the second time, and before the fight is even done, the fight is done in Liquid. They call it in game 1.
Well, the question of have they figured something out from those previous 2 games, I think has been answered.